JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 16th of September 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, view the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so yeah, I do apologize for a slightly late start of this video. Had a few technical issues, but hopefully everything is now resolved and up and running. Yeah, guys, before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website. And if you click here on JFD Research, it will take you to our page, which we update on a daily basis. So I believe you can find something useful here for yourselves, guys. So yep, I can see in chat room here. Good morning, Evo, to you too. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, let's jump into the charts. The first one I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225. A bit of weakness kicked in here today, and well, to be honest, from the technical side, everything's working according to the plan, as I've talked about in the beginning of this week. The 30,714.15 territory continued to provide resistance, and yep, we saw that little decline, which kind of brought the index to the area right here, the one that I talked about previously, and that was the 30,242 level here. As you can see, it did overshoot it a little bit, but overall, I mean, it remained above it, and yep, this area is acting as a good support level. However, if that gets broken and we see a drop below today's low, basically here, which is around the 30,202 level, then yes, we could consider maybe a larger correction to the downside towards this upside support line taken from the low, the 20th of August. Shanghai Composite, so this one is a little bit worse than the rest, and yep, we can see that it is heavily declining. It broke below this upside line, and yep, now it's drifting towards that 21-day EMA. And what I said to you previously when I was covering Shanghai Composite was that if we drop below this 3,629 territory, then yes, this could open the door towards lower levels, maybe even going all the way towards this towards a test of this upside support line taken from the low, the 28th of July. So long story short, for now, I would say like this, that if we continue to trade below this hurdle, below this 3,629 level, then yes, I will go for a bit of a larger correction to the downside. However, of course, as we know, there are a bunch of obstacles on the way lower, so probably I would suggest to go slowly, step by step on this one. So in other words, keep your eyes on the 21-day EMA. If that fails to provide support, then yes, my next target is around the 3,544 level, marked by the high of the 11th of August, and around here, depending on how this is going to shape up, around here we might see a test of the 100-day EMA as well. So keep that in mind. Now jumping into the German index DAX, and look at this. I mean, from the beginning of this week I told you guys to keep an eye on this hurdle here, this 15,755 level, together with the 21-day EMA, and well, yeah, look at this. I mean, it continued to provide resistance. We did get an attempt to overshoot it. We did briefly that, but and then it kind of reversed back down. So basically, in other words, this idea is working out so far. Let's see if it can continue moving lower. However, guys, I would suggest still to remain careful right now, because at the moment we are at a very interesting spot in general, in not only in DAX but in general, because in a way, we did get fantastic rallies, especially in the U.S. equities, and we did hit new all-time highs. So maybe, just maybe, we could be due for a bit of a setback, maybe a larger one. However, don't want to spread that pessimism, because maybe it's not there yet, because again, until we see a clear indication of that, then yes, we cannot really, let's say, get comfortable with with that idea. And here, for example, specifically in the German index, the fact that yes, it continues to trade below this hurdle, below this 15,755 level, yes, that's kind of interesting for the sellers. However, my next target is only around this 100-day EMA, or maybe this 15,454 level right here, marked by the current lowest point of September. If that gets broken, now that's where it's going to be a little bit more interesting, and we could see maybe a drift all the way here towards the lowest point of July, near the 15,048 level. However, let's go slowly, step by step on this one, and yeah, for now I would say keep your eyes on this 15,755 level. The cash index is currently trading at around 15,681-82 zone. So basically, we are above, quite above yesterday's low. Let's see, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. But if this barrier continues to provide resistance, then yes, another slide could be possible. However, if that gets broken, then all eyes are on this downside line. Now, NASDAQ 100. So, NASDAQ 100 is quite interesting as well. So, yesterday it did drift lower. It fell below that 21-day EMA, but as you can see, it quickly reversed higher and pushed north and remained above that 21-day EMA. So, let's see if the move here has been the same as, for example, here. Where the same as, like, for example, when we had a brief drop below the 21-day EMA, and then we kind of reversed and pushed back to the upside towards new all-time highs. So will we have the same story here? Well, again, it's a difficult one, I would say, and at the moment what we can only do is go slowly, step by step on this one. And if we do pop above the 15,554 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, we will slowly aim for some higher levels, but again, like I said, slowly, and then the next target could be that 15,701 zone marked, which is the current all-time high. For the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels, now previously I talked about this 15,265 territory, but now what I can do here is probably mark the current lowest point of this week near the 15,316 level. If that gets cleared, then certainly yes, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low and could open the door towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of March. Now, DXY, the dollar index, and yeah, here, for example, here it's a bit of a tricky one, I would say. I mean, we're still stuck in this little range here because we're stuck between the 92.33 and the 92.86 levels. We continue to oscillate around the 21-day EMA, which is, yeah, it's not very clear. So at the moment, it's the same analysis remains as the previous ones during this week, the one when I talked about DXY. So yeah, we're waiting for a clear breakthrough either above this 92.86 level in order to aim for the upside, and we're waiting for a drop below the 92.33 zone here in order to consider some lower areas. So keep that in mind. Now jumping into gold here, and yeah, it continues to decline. Basically yesterday it failed to stay above this 18 forward territory above the 200-day EMA, and instead, yep, we saw this drift lower. We saw a move to the downside. However, we're still above this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 1st of June. So, in other words, if you're looking for some upside, there is still a possibility for this commodity to maybe rebound from this downside line. And if you remember previously, I talked about this level here, the 1774 territory, being the one to watch for the downside. Now I would say it's a different one. I mean, I would for now, let's say probably this level here, the low of the 6th of August and the inside swing high of the 12th of August, near the 1759 territory, could be the one, because again, we could start looking at lower levels already if we drop back below this downside line, yes, but if it stays above this downside line, basically, as I've mentioned before, this could still be seen as a nice little trampoline here, and the commodity could rebound again and make its way higher. So although it could slide lower here alongside this this downside line, still for me to get a little bit more bearish on this one, I would still prefer to see a nice good drop, and I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying below this downside line, and then yes, we could take it from there. WTI oil, so the oil did get a nice boost yesterday, and look at this. I mean, so far so good. If you remember on Monday, I talked about this one and I said that this is the level that I'm keeping an eye on, the 70.59. If that gets cleared and the price stays above that area, then there's a greater chance for this one to move higher towards the 74.21 level. That's my next target, and well, we kind of did half of the way. It's kind of working out nicely so far, but again, be very careful. Maybe let's say today we could see maybe a slight little correction to the downside, and then tomorrow a continuation move higher here. But again, that's just a bit of speculation here, I would say. So don't really take my word for that, because again, on this one, the moment on this one it's interesting. Overall, yes, I'm positive. However, from the very short-term perspective, given that we already had quite a kind of, let's say, a decent up move here in the short run, maybe like I said, a small little corrective move lower could be possible, not a huge one, and then a push higher again. So and also keep your eyes on this upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of August, because again, if even if we see a larger decline here, still the bulls have a chance to step in somewhere near this upside line and then drag the commodity higher. But as I said, for now, I'm not kind of going crazy here for the upside. I'm only aiming for the 74.21 level. Litecoin, very quickly on Litecoin, and yeah, so here, well, I sure hope this is going to be what I think it's going to be, because just out of curiosity. But anyway, in other words, what I'm considering here for now is maybe, just maybe, to see a nice little head and shoulders pattern. However, and what I mean by that is, like, we have it's a bit of a complex one, I would say, but yeah, could be the case here. So we have the kind of the two shoulders. We have one head here, and now it seems like we're forming the right shoulder. Again, it might be the case that we could form two shoulders here as well, two right shoulders, so something similar as here with the left one, with the left side, and basically that could take a while, that could take maybe even you know, till the end of the month. Nothing could happen. It could continue trading here, but then if let's say if it starts breaking the so-called neckline here, which is this little short-term upside line, now that's where it could become very interesting for a few more sellers, because at the same time we would be placed probably below the 200-day EMA, and just in general below all of the EMAs, and well, potentially this could attract a few more sellers into the game, and yeah, keep that in mind, guys. So for now I would say it is quite interesting. Let's continue monitoring this. It could drift a little bit higher here, but again, if it is forming that right shoulder, the move higher here would would not be as significant as maybe some would like to see it, some bulls would like to see it. But either way, guys, keep that idea in your heads. For example, right now it could drift lower if it continues to struggle to overcome this 191.73 territory. It could drift back down, test the so-called neckline, then rebound again. Go a little bit higher and then drop lower. So basically, it could form, like I said, two right shoulders, like it did here on the left, and then yeah, we'll just take it from there, guys. Excuse me, AUDJPY. So we did get a bit of data from Australia today, and yeah, we did get their unemployment number, which improved, which is great. It came out at 4.5% against the forecasted 4.9. The previous number was at 4.6. However, the employment change figures did disappoint. So if the previous number was sat at plus 2.2k, the forecast was already on the lower side at minus 90k, but it actually came out at minus 146k. So the Australian dollar took a bit of a dive, and it's currently on the slightly weaker side against its major counterparts. And yeah, so for now, I would say the idea here is working out. If you remember at the beginning of this week as well, I talked about this downside line, where I said that if it continues to provide resistance, then yes, we could continue drifting lower, where our next target could be this 79.40 zone, marked near the lows of the 25th and 27th of August. In terms of the upside on this one, well, it's pretty straightforward. We need to see a push above the 80.64 territory right here in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside. Now, jumping into USDJPY, and here we are seeing a nice drift lower. So I don't have any lines here, as you can see, but basically just wanted to have it clear. So yeah, we can see that we have drifted back below the 100-day EMA. We're approaching this support zone marked by the low of the 16th of August. And yesterday we actually tested that. You look at this level is around 109.15 territory. If we clear that level again, then certainly yes, we'll go lower, where our next target could be this lowest point of August near the 108.72 zone. And here it could test the 200-day EMA as well, which may kind of be an interesting spot here for some bulls to step in again. However, let's not rush into anything. For now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside on this one. However, I would prefer to see a drop below this 109.15 level first. In terms of USDCAD, now this one yesterday drifted lower, obviously, and oil did push nicely to the upside. Oil did rally and brought the oil-linked currencies higher, like Canadian dollar and the Norwegian krone. And yeah, it drifted down. This pair, I mean, drifted lower and found support near the 21-day EMA. It's still stuck in between these two lines. So basically, if you remember, I talked about this in the beginning of this week, that if it continues to remain within these two lines, then yes, we will remain a little bit on the neutral side, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. For now, like I said, I'm just observing this one. I'm keeping it as it is. I'm not touching it because, again, it's way too tricky. If we break the downside line and we push, now this time I will probably keep an eye on yesterday's high, which is also the current highest point of this week, near the 1.2709. If we clear that level, then yes, I'll start aiming for the upside. For the downside, I need to see a break of this upside line taken from the low of the 1st of June. And maybe, just depending on how this is going to shape up here, maybe drop below this hurdle, or even actually below this hurdle here, the 1.2559 zone marked by the inside swing high of the 6th of September. A nice good move below it could, yep, lead to some lower areas. JPY-CAD also quite interesting. So yesterday we had the UK inflation numbers, which came out much better than the forecast. However, some analysts kind of are getting worried a little bit that the inflation in UK is picking up way too quickly. You can have a read through our kind of our little analytical piece later on when it's gonna get uploaded on our website. If you go into research, and it's probably gonna be delivered in around an hour and a half. Basically, yeah, some analysts are concerned about the whole kind of inflation, UK's inflation growing too rapidly, because last time this the number was like this. It was like in 2012, so April. So yeah, I mean, it's quite a huge jump in a short period of time. So yeah, have a read through that. So yeah, later on when we will upload the piece. So coming back to the pair here, JPY-CAD. So here, it seems like we could be forming a possible rising wedge pattern, which according to all the tier rules tends to break to the downside. However, at the moment it's quite wide, and basically we could consider some levels here inside first. And for me, for example, in order to, at the moment I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, especially if oil continues to rise. So yeah, my next target will be this 1.7426 level around the 21-day EMA, or maybe we could aim for this upside support line taken from below the 5th of July, and then we'll take it from there. EURUSD. So EURUSD is, again, it's still stuck. It's still oscillating around that 21-day EMA. Not much is happening, so basically the same analysis remains. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna wait. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna wait for a clear breakthrough one of my levels before I could start considering the next short-term directional move, because at the moment it's way too tricky, and it's way too unclear. So yeah, let's wait for that move, and let's see what we can squeeze out of this one. If we pop above the 1.1851 level, then yes, we'll aim for that 200-day EMA, which coincides with the 100-day EMA, or we could go for the 1.1909 level, which, as you can see, acted as a very strong area of resistance recently. For the downside, we need to see a drop below the 1.1770 territory in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside. So guys, that's it for this session. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys. I really do. So thank you very much for joining in. If you want to catch me later on, I would say tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.